on the final day of any given tournament. There's something special. I think that for Vitality as well, Stumpy, that last series against Guild was absolutely perfect for them because they will be fired up coming into this one. It's as big as it gets. Let's get going.
A battling victory is really going to set them up nicely. You can't have a meander, and you can't just about sort of scrape through and doubt yourselves. They made sure that they were there to play, and at the end, it was everybody coming together. But in this, it's Dignitas coming off the loss to BDS. That's where I'm going to be looking at the most. Are they going to continue having that confidence that they can beat Vitality? Because ultimately, like you said, they are the other informed team right now in Europe.
Yeah, they are. I mean, this is a fixture that goes all the way back in Rocket League's history. The two old teammates as well on the pitch right now, Violet Panda and KDOP, so much history together themselves. And even back in Season 9, when Dignitas broke the Reno Vitality reign by winning the EU Regional. Just huge, vast amounts between these teams, the amount of times they played, and it's been enthralling. It's going to be the same again right here, right now. I think we're going to go all the way to 7 games, where BDS will away, and as Wavepunk on the desk said, just try not to think about that as much as you possibly can. I feel that we'll be talking about it more than they'll be thinking about it over the next 7 games or so.
I hope so, because all that's on my mind is who's playing for second place right now. But these guys are going to be wanting to make sure they can put as much forward as they possibly can. Fairy Pete coming in for an awkward save, but does manage to stretch it into the corner. Can Jack get that central? Does so with the demo as well. Jorius halting the ball alongside Alpha, leaves it to the midfield, so Panda has to race up to try and beat out Fairy Peak. Doesn't manage to, and a save has to come in from Jorius. And a lot of these players on the pitch are, like you said, they have so much history together that there's so many storylines that can't even be covered. Like, these are the top teams in Europe, and as soon as somebody really gets a hold on this series, I don't expect that hold to stay for too long.
I don't know, we've already seen that Vitality can turn it around when it's against them, and Alpha 54 has got the quality to make a goal out of nothing. How does he score from here? On the sideboard, there's at least one defender. There's 2 defenders, apparently Jack at the near post. Still somehow, Alpha gets the first goal in the series, and he's slowly coming to the boil as well, Stumpy. It's been... I would say KDOP has probably been Vitality's best player over the last couple of days, and it's been a while since we've been able to say that. But when Alpha has those moments, it just makes his opponent so terrified, and that goal was why.
I don't know, as you say that, I was going to say that Alpha, I think, is the best player on Vitality, but KDOP has had such a gigantic uprising recently. Just right place, right time. He's always been that poaching player for Vitality, and that is proving exactly why he fits in well in that role. He is quick, he can nip in just above the defender when he needs to, and the second goal for Vitality gives them a pretty decent lead just 2 minutes in.
Dignitas have had such a long run to get here as well. There were 2-3s, there was another 2-3 straight after that, and that 4-3 versus Oxygen Esports. I guess they had a bit of a break against Team BDS, which ended pretty quickly, but to manage to get a game against them in the upper bracket finals, get that particular monkey off their back. But it's been a slog for Dignitas. And Vitality, I'd say they've had things a little bit easier, but they did have that winners semis, that 4-3 versus Team BDS, which would have taken out of them. And then, of course, just now, the game against Guild. It's been exhausting, actually, for both of these teams. They're going to have to step up because at the end of the last regional, we saw how much exhaustion can come into play when you're focusing on a game as mechanical as Rocket League, where you have to be so perfect. Mistakes, I believe, are going to come into this series. Who would you back to have that better mentality if they're starting to slip?
I think both of these teams, they've proven the stamina they've got is absolutely world-class. You need for it to be. I think either of them are going to be able to bring themselves back into the fray. But with early doors, you have to start as you mean to go on. Wins early on, they help out immeasurably. If you start off strong, then you've got a great mindset going into the rest of the series. But we have 90 seconds left in this game. With Vitality keeping their 2-0 lead, Dignitas need to try and get just 1 goal soon to bring them back in. Jack wants to work his way out of defense, finds the midfield and Jorius along with it, but Fairy Peak, what an interception. Just knows that Dignitas do rely on those passing plays often, but Dignitas have had a trick or two up their sleeves that they can certainly try and outwit Vitality with later on.
Well, the thing is, apparently Jack had the ball on his roof, and he is one of the best flickers in the world. So they can't rely too much on the fact that he will go for the pass there. Sometimes he'll opt to slam it onto the backboard. He went for the fast shot there, but it was saved by KDOP. But Dignitas are just starting to have a little bit of time on the ball until KDOP takes out Jorius. Actually, there is a shooting chance. All 3 Vitality members were back, and Alpha takes it away.
Under a minute now, Joris with full boost sends it central, but apparently Jack was not far enough up, and so the ball just falls to Fairy Peak, can send it along yet again. And a chance for Vitality emerging. Alpha can't quite manage to get the dunk, but the ball falling to K-Dub again. A shot just above the crossbar. K-Dub removing Jack out of frustration. And as Alpha drops that low and Jack can clear, it's now only 30 seconds remaining. Otherwise, this game goes to Vitality.
Here we go. There's a shooting chance. There's also a demo from Jarius.
And the bump!
And the bump as well. There's a bump, there's a demo, there's everything. And there is time for Dignitas here.
As Joris, look at that, with one demo, then immediately sets his sights on Alpha. Means that goal is open for Jack. The first goal, both teams now scoring in this opening game. It's not great when one team goes scoreless, because it just sets you up for unanswered goal stats, which nobody likes listening to. Final 20 seconds. Is Jack going to be able to get it past the halfway line in a confident manner? Falls to Joris, who can get it over the top of K-Dop. The very big on the goal line. And Violent Panda and Jack so far away when there was a great chance.
Yeah, it was the flick option this time from Jarius. It definitely seems to be the case that Vitality are defending very deeply, leaving that one open. And there is a chance here. Apparently Jack can shoot. Can he? It's saved. It's up in the air. K-Dop tries to get it beyond Jarius and manages to do it. But Team Vitality, they started off so strong, but Dignitas showed signs of coming back into it.
Disappointing at the end that we saw both Jack and Panda so far back. They were in their own half. When you've got 10 seconds left, just got to push. Even if you're a little low on boost, see if you can get a bump. See if you can just grab those pads, frustrate the opponent, and get something. Otherwise, if you lose 3-1 or if you lose 2-1, the result is the same. You just need to try and push to try and get through with one goal. Regardless, game falls to Vitality. And it was mainly in there with the solo plays. It was K-Dop outspeeding the defense, and it was also Alpha coming from that left wall to get his solo goal.
Yeah, it was such a fast aerial up there from K-Dot for their second goal for Vitality, but great demos as well. It's something that both these teams share, and that's the ability to have precise demo plays. There are some teams out there, we won't mention any names, but go for demos a little bit too much, and it takes them out of position, and once teams start, I didn't say that, once teams start to read it, it just becomes, didn't say that again, becomes a little bit telegraphed. Whereas with both Vitality and Dignitas, when they go for a demo, there's actual meaning to it. It almost always leads to a chance for their team. They balance the risk of taking themselves out of position, and it was a demo play that got Dignitas back into that first game. So we'll see if these teams start to focus on that a little bit more as the second game begins. But it's Vitality with the early start and Caleb with the early shot, but it goes wide.
Yeah, early pressure for Vitality, but the ball falling over into that blue half now. Alpha taking his time, but using quite a lot of boost to do so. K-Dog trying to get that away from Fairy Peak, but instead leaves the ball to him. Jorius ping-ponging it back. Both these teams poking the bear of their opposition. Alpha with so much boost, he's dangerous just trying to get out of defense and flip resets it round Jorius. We saw at the end of the game versus Guild how incredible Alpha is feeling at the moment. Mechanically, one of the best in the world, and even if the results don't necessarily always show it, he is typically one of the most confident players in European Rocket League.
And here he is with a little wave dash to try and get past Jorius, but Jorius muscles him out of the way, letting apparently Jack in. Violent Panda's rotating a little bit further forward this time. That was one of the great disappointments of that first game for Dignitas, the moment that you identified where there were two of them that should have been further forward and weren't. I think that's a play style that Dignitas have used to some effect against BDS. In the previous regional where they lost the first game, I think it was 1-0 after a 4-minute overtime. Then they ended up going way too aggressive, trying to match BDS's pace, and lost 4-1 and 5-1. That slower playstyle will work against them, but against Vitality, I don't think it's the play here. I think Dignitas have to come out explosively and try and let Vitality know that they are just as fast as they are, just as mechanical as they are as well, this new iteration of Dignitas. Defending it to beat them just will not work, in my opinion.
Fairy Peak waiting just behind the Dignitas backline, seeing if he can get a bump for a demo off the K-Dop long shot. Now Joris going off the ceiling, still has his flip, can send it low, and he connects with apparently Jack. They connect above the goal as well once again. And the opening goal falling to Dignitas with just a touch of mechanical brilliance.
Oh, look at that. For the first half of that assist, it was your classic 2018 ceiling play. And then right at the end, there was a spin and there was a late dodge and it was a nosedive, and what a pass it turned into. But apparently Jack was in the right place at the right time to get his second of the series and Dignitas' first lead.
With 2 minutes gone, that's a decent start for them as well. Fairy Peak can't get it over any defender. And so Panda just has to dodge Alpha actually on his way out. Seeing these Vitality players lurking behind Dignitas is scary. Jack can get a shot just above target. Joreus off his back from K-Dop's own touch into his half. These passes falling central for Dignitas haven't quite led to a goal just yet, but off the ceiling, is it going to be able to? Joreus dodges away from it, realizes he doesn't have the angle, and look at this pressure at half-time.
The sustained offense from Dignitas, I'm pretty sure, is because Vitality are choosing to defend so deeply. Whenever one of them comes forward with the ball on their roof, they have options, as we identified in game 1, but wait a minute, down the other end, Vitality only need 1 second, and they equalize.
The perfect 50 falling to one of the Rocket League gods. K-Dop, again, there to poach. Right place, right time. And people, I feel, don't appreciate just how much a team needs that sometimes. We saw earlier, we said not go on about it too much, Jack and Panda just weren't in the right position. Earlier on, there was not a clear goal, but it was certainly a better idea to go up there. K-Dop, he's always going to find himself in that position, and it's why he's stayed relevant for so incredibly long, is that his game knowledge is so much better than pretty much anybody else in Europe and the world.
His mechanics are improving now as well. It's really catching up his K-Dop, turning into an absolute beast on the field yet again. But he's trapped down Dignitas territory right now. Needs his teammate Fairy Peak to flick it towards him. He can't quite do it. There was a block. Now apparently Jack takes to the ceiling. A much more modern looking ceiling play. This one could be. Oh my goodness, it's at the crossbar. Final Panda's following it. Final Panda misses. And K-Dop gets it away. Fairy Peak completes the job. Oh, that would have been so good.
That's the kind of shot that you hit and you're just like, let it go in.
Yeah.
Surely let that go in. But Panda can't quite get the touch. On the player cams, they are just keeping calm, looking forward to the next goal, next opportunity. Are they going to be able to do it? Fairy Pig nearly hits his partner on the way through. And Panda now wanting to come back the other end. K-Dop dropping it down towards Alpha, sends it high back to K-Dop. Takes Joreus a second to catch on to the idea. And now Vitality are really pressuring that goal line.
Yeah, it's Vitality's turn, essentially. There are no signs of fatigue so far, though, from any of these players. The passes are crisp. The transition's perfect. The finishing really good so far, apart from that slight miss from Violent Panda. It shows you, when you have one chance at this level, you absolutely have to take it. Will Dignitas be punished? Almost. I think that the Vitality man was falling on the ball there, and if he had have connected, it could have been really dangerous for Dignitas. Now they're passing it around their own third. Apparently Jack with the ball yet again in control. The Vitality defense so far back, but K-Dop chooses right this time.
Vitality are going for some of the most dangerous passing plays because they don't look like they should be. And that's what is going to cash out Dignitas in the end, I feel. It's been Fairy Pig trying to hit a player in midair or sending the ball back to a player that's falling down to get a ground pinch. And if you can do that effectively, that's near enough a guaranteed goal. But a triple commit on that left boost will mean that Joreus, if he gets this far, will be able to get a goal scoring opportunity. He isn't able to. Alpha challenges nice and quickly. Panda on that left wall. He's got enough time to send it back, but the midway line is where the ball may fall at 0 seconds. Fairy Peak towards the right wall. Joreus with 65 boost. How much can he do with this? Alpha, look at him shoot straight to the ceiling so he can rock it back down for the dunk.
Much better defending there when the solo play was starting to emerge from Vitality, but it's Dignitas that have the ball off the kickoff. Joreus towards the backboard. Who's arriving on this right wing for Dignitas. Apparently Jack, both he and K-Dop miss it, and then Joreus missing it too. A little bit awkward from Dignitas in attack. And Fairy Peak can go long. Violent Panda's watching the ball. Eventually gets a touch, but a little bit of a strange start to the overtime there from Dignitas.
So Panda, I think, flipped before Fairy Peak got that hit, and so he was like stuck in the animation and desperately wanted to try and hit the ball because he saw it flying straight at the net. Does manage to get away from it scot-free though. And 30 seconds has passed now. Fairy Peak trying to get this centre towards K-Dop, who is waiting. Jack in the corner with Joreus, and now Panda takes all three of the Dignitas players for them to start to emerge through on a counter-attack. Thwarted by Fairy Peak near immediately, though.
Fairy Peak and the Fennec as well. I'm not disappointed, but I am very angry, Fairy Peak. It's okay, I'll forgive you for letting down the Batmobile. Fairy Peak does go up. He pushes to the side where K-Dop is trying to read it, but Joreus is too quickly there. Apparently Jack tries to get the next touch and does. Falling for Violent Panda. Alpha saves. It's an easy save, actually. And Alpha can come forward again. End-to-end stuff. All solid attacks from both teams.
These pre-jumps from every defender have been absolutely incredible. Joreus there had to pre-jump backwards to try and block it away from Alpha. That's how close you need to be defending on a lot of these aerial plays. We said the other day, people are pre-jumping Alpha, and Alpha with that shot on net leaves Joreus to just swing himself in front, trying to get any touch he possibly can. Vitality with the lion's share of this attack right now.
Violent Panda up against Fairy Peak. Violent Panda wins the 50-50 by a long way. He wants to steal this boost as well, but Alpha takes it. And now Alpha can take control and figure out what he wants to do next. What he does is he fakes out apparently. Then he gets it past Jorius. Fairy Peak only has to finish. K-Dop can't help it on its way. What a goal that would have been, but not quite to be yet again.
Fairy Peak just wanted to get the perfect shot, and it's one where you line it up and you take 3 years to do so. But in that 3 years, Fairy Peak couldn't quite get the shot off, and we still stay even.
Yeah, poor old Fairy Peak. The bounce for him was so awkward. He just couldn't get it in a place where he could jump and then dodge, but apparently Jack is able to. Apparently Jack scores from absolutely nothing. Dignitas take game 2.
The relief on Jack right now, shaking his hands out, being like, okay, right, that's our goal. We take it. We take those. We get a long shot. And that's what you can do, though, when you've got Vitality pushing up so far on these attacks. If you can then just send one long to really threaten the defense. We saw it happen earlier as well when Fairy Peak really stretched Panda as much as he possibly could. That is how you will get goals in these games. You see at the end of that as well. Jorius with no goals has 750 points.
6 saves as well. He was just in the way of everything that Team Vitality were chucking at him. I don't think it was a famous defensive performance from Dignitas really, so much as 1 or 2 misplaced passes at the key moment from Team Vitality, but they did have such good pressure, which is a real worry for Dignitas and a real cause for excitement for all of Team Vitality's fans. But just look at this game, imagine the quality of that 50-50 there. K-Dot finishes it, but I want to see the goal again from Dignitas, which is coming up in overtime, just from absolutely nothing. They take game 2, and sometimes the margins are that fine.
Yeah, and Dignitas, they take those margins and they will run with them. That then gives us a 1-all scoreline right now in this series, hoping that we just see these guys alternate games and then they come down to an incredible game 7. Because whoever wins this, they'll be in the grand finals. Both these teams have secured at minimum 3rd place and a real boatload of money while we're there as well. And points, exactly. So either one, I'm happy with their performance so far, but man, going to see so much more coming out from them both.
This 3rd game, this series has really warmed up right now. These players at their absolute peak. As apparently Jack takes a snapshot, Violent Panda tries to flick it on, but Fairy Peak held his nerve, didn't back the finish to be coming in there. K-Dop's trying that air dribble from the backboard. We've seen that backfire a few times. I think he knew there was no one around him in that occasion. But even at this top level, players are starting to realize that it's not an easy mechanic to do to air dribble away from that point. So a little bit risky there from him.
Well, you have to get it so perfectly. You have to be so underneath it that you can actually get some distance. Otherwise, you're just air dribbling it into a very predictable position in your own third. We saw earlier when it was Dignitas versus BDS. Jorius went for an air dribble, failed it, went above the ball, ended up just having it pinched off his roof by Mark by 8. That's all it takes, and you give up a goal so easily. And the first big shot going to Fairy Peak, saved away by Panda again off that post. Jorius, can he flick over the top? He does so. Helped out by Alpha. Touchdown to the goal line for Fairy Peak. K-Dop can save it away. And this still remains 0-0. Can Fairy get that final shot? Not quite.
He was gonna, apparently Jack hadn't closed it down, but K-Dop can shoot. No, he's missed. He's actually faked it for Fairy Peak. The good old game of did K-Dop mean that or not will now come out. I like to think that he did, the way he's playing.
You always back him to.
I always back him to. Here's why. Here comes Fairy Peak Alpha. He must finish. Slowly but surely, yes he does.
You could throw a blanket over everybody on Vitality there. Look at where they all ended up. It was on the goal line together. K-Dot bumps Jack out of the way, tries to get the goal steal while he's at it, but Alpha and double taps, name a more iconic duo.
Fairy Peak and Batmobile.
Nah, yeah, sorry mate, it's chosen a better car.
That is a big shame, but here he is with the ball. Into the center it goes. Alpha could double up. Vitality's lead straight away. He doesn't. K-Dot beats Violent Panda to the ball, though. More often we're seeing Vitality winning these duels, winning these races, and getting the next touch as well. K-Dop again, sniffing around. Doesn't need to rotate back because he knows exactly where these clearances are going. Dignitas can't really transition at the moment until they combine, and K-Dop has to get the next attack going.
So many predicted touches happening. Fairy Peak showing off a beautiful amount of mechanics. They're getting the flip reset to give him some distance too. But there's so many pre-jumps, so much. Everybody knowing what each other's going to do. There are teammates on teammates on this pitch of teams of old as well. And Violent Panda keeping that pressure on to get the equalising goal.
It was a pass into the center as opposed to a pass at a 45-degree angle. Violent Panda read it really well from apparently Jack. And then the speed that he showed as well after getting his first touch, which was already winning a race. Then to be able to get round it and get that finish, great play there from Violent Panda.
So at halfway, both these teams have now drawn themselves even. And that speed from Panda is, yeah, no, you're right. That was to be able to self-pass to yourself. Alpha, though, did just turn away from the ball when he should have attacked it knowing that K-Dot was behind him. Maybe the call just didn't quite come in.
Oh, big turn there from Violent Panda. He wanted to get that boost, but he couldn't quite do it, and now have to rotate out. That's a huge boost grab for Vitality, and it means that Fairy Peak can go up and try and get this ball bouncing, hoping that his equally mechanical teammates can do something with it. It's Violent Panda that it falls for. He's getting a lot of the ball now all of a sudden, which wasn't the case in the first half of this third game, but K-Dot should score. Oh, but the finishing isn't quite
With
there.
the turbo flick. He learned from his former teammate, tries to go for a flick, doesn't come off, but this time it does not end up in a goal.
Of all the things to learn from former teammates, it's Turbo and his flicks. Unbelievable.
Now, under 2 minutes, Jack will get it central. Panda with the backflip. Maybe sees the K-Dop's a little bit further away than he thought, so doesn't have to rush up to the ball. And look, he's ball chasing a lot. It's not going badly even. I don't mean that as an insult, but he's staying on the ball very frequently and giving Vitality very little room to breathe in.
We might have a little bit here depending on Violent Panda's first touch. No, it's actually a perfect one over Fairy Peak. Alpha's just going to be watched as he takes this ball away. That's good play from Alpha, slowing it down, buying his team some time and some boost. K-Dop's to his side. K-Dop doesn't fake this one. He shoots it. Precise pinpoint into the top corner. That is the K-Dop we know and love. 2-1 Vitality.
This game has been so quick and so fast that as soon as Alpha slows it down, Jorius genuinely had no idea what to do there. He was lost. He was turning back. He was turning back in. He's like, oh, I can't just drive forward and hit the ball now. And that is the perfect thing for Alpha to have done in that position. K-Dop with the finishing that we know and love him for as well. And that puts Vitality 1 goal above. And a chance again. Alpha
no way.
dunking top corner.
Unbelievable. Look at this one from the side. Alpha just chasing down Violent Panda. He's nailed that perfectly as well on the corner of his car. You couldn't dunk any better. You couldn't shoot better than that, even if Violent Panda hadn't dipped it forward. Great play.
It's the top corners. That is what Vitality have got on the menu, and you bet that they're going to be going for them. Now, Jorius has to try and squeeze a goal back in for Dignitas, but straight off the kickoff, Fairy Peak can take full advantage of Alpha's shot again.
It was another pinch from Alpha. He has come so close with so many of those. And we've been watching backstage, Stumpy. The amount of times Alpha has the ball on the wall, and he goes for the pinch, and he always nails it, but it never quite goes in. But every time it makes us go, because we think something could happen.
Is this the time?
Yep, that time it took a deflection off the Dignitas defender, but there was the goal scorer, Fairy Peak, of his first for the series.
Oh, I did not. What? I didn't think he landed to get the flip reset, but he did. And that set up this entire offensive play. Alpha has turned it on for this third game.
Yeah, Vitality looking so much faster right now. It's a great save by Jorius, but he needs to convert it into something incredibly quickly. It's apparently Jack that gets the next touch. Booms it all the way to K-Dop. The transition play now for Vitality is so much better. Already up in the air, already chasing those angles when the pass is coming in. I can't see Dignitas doing anything in the last 20 seconds or so to come back into this one, especially when Alpha is almost sinking those incredibly tight angles. He's really been the difference in this one, Alpha.
God, that nearly a consolation goal at the death of this game. He isn't quite able to come in. With about 8 seconds left, that is going to be Vitality winning the third and going up in the series. Very big, faking out at the end too. We all know him for his 3v3, but lest we forget his 1v1 prominence. Wanted to get a goal in the end. Regardless, just finish the game as soon as he can. GG, go next.
Was he going for the own goal there, Fairy Peak, at the end of that one when he knows he's already got the game? I love that. Look at him. What a man. Of course he was. He's Fairy Peak. He does literally whatever he wants, Stumpy Goblin. I think that was the game where Vitality really outclassed Dignitas. They showed signs of doing it in game one, and it was closer than perhaps it could have been. But in that one, I don't really think there's too much Dignitas could have done differently. Vitality were just a step above.
Yeah, I mean, it was Vitality just knowing exactly where the ball was going to be ending up. Mostly for me, it was Alpha. And he has been an incredible player on Vitality ever since he joined. He has made sure that whatever position he finds himself in, most of the time, it is not only going to help him out, it will also be helping out Fairy and K-Dop. Because K-Dop, as we said, he is rarely the man that breaks down the wall. He is usually the man that just finishes the job.
Yeah, Alpha 54, the 54th iteration and the best. They finally nailed it, and he is going to be looking to nail the coffin into Dignitas as this series goes on. If he keeps playing like this one, we head over to Utopia Coliseum, and Team Vitality are way in the ascendancy right now. For Dignitas, it's tough because I want to see more pace, but as that game went on, Vitality were faking Dignitas at will because Dignitas were clearly chasing shadows. So maybe, and you're going to hate me here, maybe just slow it down for 30 seconds or so. Try and get Team Vitality to just think.
Could you see my eye rolls just then?
I always can, mate. Yeah, I could see your eye rolls.
Yeah, it's just... Ugh. I don't necessarily disagree. I just think that was Vitality being better than Dig, and that's okay in some of these games. For Vitality, they continue as they work and start as you mean to go on. And Dignitas, I think you are right. Just play a bit differently. Slow it down like Alpha was in that game. Yeah. Go for some more solo plays as and when the time fits. Yeah, just be a bit different every now and then. We've actually not seen too many passes, so I'm happy that I just saw Jorius hit that central towards Panda.
Yeah, everybody knows that Dignitas are at their best when they are nailing those passes, but Vitality aren't letting them do it. You have to remember that as well. It's not just a switch that Dignitas can flick when they're up against Team Vitality. But apparently Jack can take a clean touch here. What a clearance that is from Fairy Peak. And Jorius from one corner to the other. Look at that.
Now a chance Fairy Peak does miss that on the way back, but because there's no Dignitas attacker coming in, not too threatening, doesn't matter too much. Jorius with the double. kickoff is arm slower. And off the back of the defender. Jorius with an acute angle for the opener.
The solo plays from Dignitas. There they go. Apparently Jack was going for a bump and going for a demo on Alpha. I don't know how much difference it made in the end when the quality of finish from Jorius was that high. 1-0 Dig.
Yeah, it was going in regardless, but helping it in just means that you've not got the defender who just might be able to nick it away when there's only 1% of the ball remaining to get in the back of the net. Dignitas again taking the lead in this game.
kickoff versus apparently Jack. Apparently Jack probably gets the best of that 50-50, especially if it does fall to Jorius, but Alpha got up quickly. Apparently Jack with another one of those clean finishes out on the corner of that Octane. Vitality are struggling to clear their lines a little bit. The flicks aren't working out for them. The dribbles out of defense are just being blocked at midfield. And Dignitas are coming again. It's very much a series where teams are taking turns at having sustained pressure, I would say, at this point. And the question becomes, who is going to take their chance when it does cut? So far, it's been Dignitas, but that can change.
Jorius into the corner, can send that far, but only finds Fairy Peak, who sends it slightly behind kickoff, and so Panda can take a long shot. Alpha into the corner, but the boost stolen by Panda and the ball stolen by Jack means that Dignitas have a chance.
Maybe just the first signs of some exhaustion coming into play here. Awkward passes, a couple of misplaced touches and dribbles from Vitality. That from kickoff was just straight up Violent Panda. I think we expected to see a dip due to the amount of Rocket League that these two teams are playing, and Vitality are having theirs first after having such a steaming Game 3.
I mean, just bear in mind that literally like earlier today, there was a match that happened between Vitality and Top Blokes. That was hours ago at this point,
feels like
and they've been playing since then. I literally just had to check to see if that was today, because that's how long ago it felt. Like, these guys have been playing for so long. The Game 7 versus Guild took a lot of energy out. Jack, central to Jorius, tests that Vitality defense. When it's tired, cracks form.
There you go.
And Panda with Jorius are going to take a sledgehammer to the mortar.
Great pass that was, just beating Vitality for pace again. Violent Panda, he's shown some great moments of speed so far throughout this entire tournament, and there was yet another one. Jorius in the perfect position. I think the Dignitas feel that this is their game to lose as well, based on their positioning and how far up the pitch they're playing. They are playing with complete confidence, at least in this small instance of 5 minutes. The next game could be completely different, but right now we can sit back and witness Dignitas on top.
I mean, the passing plays, they're coming out and they are bearing fruit finally. That's what you want to be seeing as a Dignitas fan, especially. Like, if you're in chat and you're seeing Dignitas start to pass, that's when you rub your hands together like a greedy fly and you say, yes, this is what I want.
Ew. What will I have to say about that? I dislike flies. Anyway, Fairy Peak does fly to the ball, but kickoff can't quite be found again.
That's
the
open.
Pass, not quite there. Is that open? Not quite. Fairy Peak tries to get a block. Apparently Jack will finish, will he? Oh my goodness, that was a tight finish in the end, but he got it.
Wow, that's perfect. That is the most perfect shot that Jack could have done with that quick turnaround too. Look how close. Alpha gets a touch to it. If that's any more central, Alpha saves it away. Instead, the third goal for Dignitas puts them quite firmly in the lead. And with over 90 seconds left, I don't know, like what is it, 110 seconds or so, that's a good position to be in.
Good maths, mate. Numbers are
mate.
forever.
They are.
Alpha leaves that one. K-Dot puts it into the center. Fairy Peak shoots, and Fairy Peak gets a goal back for Vitality. If they're coming back into form right now, Vitality, this game is not over.
It's swiping across the ball. K-Dot passing central with his new teammate Fairy Peak after, he used to be with Violent Panda. It does mean that they're learning something from all of his old teammates. It was the turbo flick from Turbo, and it's the infield passes from Panda. Using that against them, that may just be the start of a couple of goals falling in favor of Vitality. Fairy Peak from the ceiling. What a great interception.
I'm really intrigued to see how Dignitas play this now. Are they going to slow it down, as we said earlier on, or is this the point? I agree with you. I agree with you. This is where they need to just say to Vitality, look, you've had your chance. It's not going to happen. We're not going to sit back and try and defend a 3-1 lead. We're going to take that next goal and really kill this game that must belong to them. And Violent Panda's trying to do that now, beating K-Dop again. He's done that a few times in this game. Joris and Fairy Peak watch it. Fairy Peak is in a really awkward position based on that bounce. Violent Panda's coming. He can't be blocked by K-Dop, but he is stopped by Alpha.
That was such good positioning from Jorius as well. Went for one bump, didn't get it. Went for the next bump and forced the inside-out save into them jumping to the floor. But Alpha is able to get a dribble on his hood.
Ooh, interesting.
So over the top of Jorius, the 1v1 maestro, is the perfect man you want defending that.
Needs to be boomed away and quick. Fairy Peak's coming in. I think he wanted to just touch that down to Alpha 54, but it was a little bit heavy, and Vitality are going to have to restart all of their attacks. That's how it's done. Fairy Peak into the center for K-Dot, but Jorius closes it down. Dignitas are just reading these passes. A little bit slow on that one, though. And Vitality only going to score. No, they're not. Apparently, Jack from the side. That perhaps was the moment, and especially if Dignitas can score from this chance, it's game over.
Okay, that was incredible. That was an absurd passing play from Vitality, and Jack looks him in the eyes and just says, no, you are not getting that against literal, actual Dignitas. Off the goal line again. Jorius can save it away as Jack finds the floor. This is punch after punch landing between these two teams. Dignitas, with this game now in hand, it's still such an alive series. And look at everybody on their cameras, just not bothered, knowing how this series goes. This was always going to be trading blows.
Yeah, they don't want to waste any energy either. You can see their Violent Panda staying hydrated, drinking that water. Very important to do. I think that game was a little... It could have turned into a mirror image of Game 1, where it should have been really simple for one team, and then one goal just changes it, and it starts to get a little bit scary for the other team. In this instance, it was Dignitas that it got scary for. But that was Dignitas' turn to be faster and to be supreme, and I think they enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely. I think right at the end, that Jack save on what would have been the best goal in that game that's going to be so confidence-inspiring, because Jack is a player that I feel at times he has shown that he can tilt out of a series. He's shown that every now and then he gets in his own head and he'll overthink and think, why didn't I score that? Why didn't I save that? There's issues. Yeah, he's new. He's young. A lot of these players are. Having that save and being able to read Vitality in such a perfect way, that is unreal.
Yeah, and it wasn't as if the goal within the context of the game wasn't important either. It was by no means a consolation. That was the goal that really would have started a grandstand finish, where Vitality have 30 seconds or so to score a third and just really put a dampener on all of Dignitas' positivity. But none of that happened because of the save, and we enter Game 5, and it couldn't be closer, Stumpy.
Also, think about how Vitality felt having that goal taken away from them too. And Jorius in 8 seconds does a little bit worse than that. He actually delivers a goal for himself. I think that was a free jump before it even hit the backboard too. Off Panda's pass, and this ball is just bouncing around the Vitality back third, and that's where Dignitas are starting to make a home.
What a classic goal as well. Violent Panda smashing it onto the backboard, and then Jorius following it home and finishing it over aplomb across all three Vitality players. But Alpha another pinch. He's going to sink one of these. Either in this series or if they make it to the finals and the grand finals. I'm telling you, Alpha is due a big old ceiling pinch or floor pinch or whatever. Didn't need a pinch that time, just a big old boom, and K-Dop scores.
It was a filthy double commit between Jorius and Jack too. Starting to be a little bit too loose potentially. This is where Violent Panda, with his aged face, he's got a beard now. That's how old he is. He needs to use his wise words and say to his young cohorts, guys, chill out. We've not won yet. We've not lost yet. We're still just playing our game. Let's best Vitality.
I like to think that until the beard, they wouldn't have trusted him. But now, that is a face that you can trust. If he says, step up, they will step up. Absolutely. So we'll see. Close start to this 5th game, 1-all. Apparently Jack into the center. Violent Panda, I wondered if he'd turn and try and get a bump or something there, but I think he'd already made his decision to wave dash away. Alpha certainly had made his decision to flip reset that one towards the Dignitas goal, but nothing. And now we do become a little bit more ping-pongy. So a chance to relax, just for a split second, perhaps, for these players.
Panda with only 19 boost, faked out kickoff as if he had more. He's like, oh, yeah, look at me. What am I going to do? And in the end, he just hits it on the backboard like, tricked ya. So, chance, though, for Fairy Peak, as Panda will save it away again. Still low on boost on the left-hand side. So he picked up that 100, so he's able to continue further down the pitch. Jack can beat out Fairy Peak on his aggressive rotation. Kdop on that backboard, just missing it or leaving it for Alpha, means that instead of it swiping across the net, it can now go down this wing, and it's dangerous for Vitality. The dangerous attack on behalf of Vitality.
Oh my goodness, what a save from Violent Panda. That's a real chance there for Fairy Peak, but it couldn't be turned away. I was about to say that every time Alpha's getting the ball, he's getting such distance between his car and the ball. He is hitting everything so cleanly, either of just a single hit or going for those pinches again, and it's really effective for Vitality, spraying the play, sending those passes out wide, constantly looking for Fairy Peak or Kdop. He remains the absolute entire key for Vitality right now, the way they're playing. He is their focal point, and he needs to continue to be so. He's actually backflipped there on the goal line. Fairy Peak puts it into the center. Apparently Jack is closing him down, and Fairy Peak gets away with that one. He did the exact same thing, Stumpy, against BDS yesterday. Did Fairy Peak and didn't get away with that. So think when you have the ball, mate.
A glancing blow of Fairy Peak onto Jorius. The block can still come out, though. And so much midfield play where there's boost control being traded between these two teams. The mid boosts being the biggest commodity right now because that's where a lot of this play is concentrated. And they will slow it down, takes the ball over Fairy Peak, pinches it off that sidewall. Can't get the block past Alpha, however. Jorius is able to. Into the corner. Can Vitality read this away? Kdop just waits on that backboard. Clever decision as Alpha to Fairy Peak, intercepted by Panda. And again, the ping pong continues.
Oh, that's awkward from Kdop. He is so lucky that nobody from Dignitas was bearing down upon Fairy Peak there. Jorius does manage to tackle Kdop. Then he shoots. Alpha should save this one onto the backboard. More distance between the ball and himself. And Fairy Peak reads it. He's got no boost, though, so this should be fairly simple for Dignitas. It's Jorius that has to do the job, and that pass into the center has nobody there. But I think that's what I want to see more of from this game. Lighter touches. They are all so powerful, which is useful, but every now and then, you just want to have the confidence to tee up your teammate, and then you can really start to do some damage.
I mean, considering how many huge touches there are too, that then also leads to a lot of pre-jumps coming in. If you can make somebody pre-jump, they're wasting boost, and they're not hitting the ball if you're going low and slow with it. It's a double-edged sword, and it's perfect.
That's better there from Alpha, exactly what we were after. Got it past one player, but not the second. Jorius comes forward with another booming play. Fairy Peak. It's an easy one there. I think they're just waiting for something to happen. All of these players not quite
they're both
taking the
aiming
initiative.
for the counter-attack.
Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, so you poke us. And they're like, no, you poke us. It's like, no, we're just going to be hitting it in the midfield. I don't know what your plan is.
I'm sensing a long overtime here. I'm just getting those feelings, which probably means it'll be a 0-second banger from one of these players, but I don't know. It seems like we're winding down that way. Of course, after this game, one of these players will be on match, one of these teams, will be on match point, so the importance of this goal could not be higher.
Oh, nobody there for Vitality as Jack does get an awkward touch on the backboard. A demo from Fairy Peak has the ball fall over the top of the net. And Fairy Peak, he earns dividends off of his demo.
Yeah, just one demo, that is all it took. It wasn't an outplay, just one moment where instead of rotating back cleanly, they decided to take a risk, did Vitality, and it worked perfectly. And suddenly the explosives are back. 39 seconds left for Dignitas to get back into this game and save themselves needing to win 2 games in a row to stay in this series and stay in this major. Kdop goes high. Jorius needs to get around this one quickly to get some distance on the clearance. Goes for the ceiling, where apparently Jack had read it. Violent Panda, could he have stayed there for a redirect? I'm not sure. With the seconds ticking down, they need something, Dignitas, and it could be Vitality to get to something, but it goes wide, and Dignitas get another chance.
So close to the double from Alpha, but instead it will be staying away. Central, Jorius can catch it, but Jack fancied a piece of that pie too. Under 10 seconds now, Dignitas needs something. This ball will be falling to Violent Panda, who goes to the wall with it. Jorius with an unbelievably ambitious pre-jump. Jack in his back corner. Can anything come from this, though? Panda central. Jorius did not get the memo. Vitality win 2 games on... Oh, sorry, not 2 games on the trot. That is just exchanging blows once again. Dignitas won the last. Vitality win this one. And if Vitality win just one more, they will be your fellow grand finalists.
The cagiest game of the entire series was that one. All of them reluctant to take any risks. It was Team Vitality that took the first one, I would say, and it really paid off for them. So I think what we need to see in this next game, Stumpy, if I'm in the comms right now, if I'm the coach, if I'm any way part of these teams, I am saying this is where we have to take the initiative ourselves. Come out all guns blazing. If we're exhausted, just fight through it, at least for the next 5 minutes for both of these teams. I think we're having a big game next up.
I agree. I completely agree. I think there was so much... There was lots of defense coming in from Vitality. If we talk about Dignitas here needing to get this win just to get us to 7. From Vitality, they were just quite happy to defend. The reason why, though, is because Dignitas weren't putting a full force onto the attacking front. They were going 60, 70%. We need to be seeing 80, 90, 95% to just be pushing through. Have that conveyor belt of players going shot, 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 and then back to the first man to take another attempt again. That's what I would love to see. That's what I think Dignitas should be going for. But will they? Or are they happy thinking, look, we got to 30 seconds left and we kept it even. They just had the first big chance. But that goal did come off the Vitality risk.
Dignitas are much fresher as well. Today they have had 1 series and it was a 4-1 loss to Team BDS, which, you know, it knocks their confidence.
In and out, no problem.
Exactly. It knocks their confidence, but it won't do too much to their tiredness levels. Whereas for Vitality, started off with that 4-1 win versus Top Blokes and then a 4-3 versus Guild. They are so many games deep, so many more games than Dignitas, and that maybe is the ace card for Dignitas in this game.
Yeah, you've got to just use that to your advantage completely. Try and just take advantage of their tiredness. Make them react incredibly quickly. Really scare them as much as you possibly can. Jorius, though, scared there with a shot from Fairy Peak. Fairy Peak can now get it central again. Alpha's up for an attack, but Panda swiping across Goldface will save it away. Early doors, still 0-0.
Yeah, but Vitality with a better start. Dignitas already scrambling to defend it. That's a great pinch again from Alpha 54. I'm telling you, he's getting one today. Jorius comes in just ahead of Fairy Peak. Alpha from the side. They're going for these more aggressive plays now of Vitality. I think they have had the same idea as what you and I have, Stumpy. Fairy Peak takes a touch, then he gets bumped out of the way by Violent Panda. Apparently Jack needs to turn around on this one quickly. Actually, it's Violent Panda that goes, and Violent Panda clears.
Jorius going up for an attack. Panda side jumping over that boost. He was really determined to get it, but did slightly get in Jorius' way. Jack can't double tap it central, and so K-Dot faces off versus Violent Panda. Again, just attacks trying to come down the wing, but being cut out by Vitality. Over the top of Fairy Peak, Jorius opts to not go for the ball. Instead, K-Dot waits and just stares him down.
Yeah, K-Dot's like, oh, what are you doing, Jorius? Why are you going over there? Go for the ball, pal.
You missed the ball.
Oh, it works in the end, though. An infield pass. That is classic Dignitas, and apparently Jack sinks it.
Fantastic shot. That pass coming in as well, just wide enough that both Alpha and Fairy Peak waiting near post weren't able to anticipate it. Last game, we saw Dignitas get the opening goal, and in less time gone as well. Will it work out how the last one did? Jorius up for the double, intercepted by K-Dot. You can't leave the airspace open for that man.
Good close down, though, from Violent Panda on Alpha. It's Fairy Peak that tries to bring out, but Jorius is going to be the recipient, and 100 boost to boot as well. Onto the ceiling he goes, tries to set himself up. K-Dot towards Alpha, the lighter touch. Much more of those in this game than the last one, thankfully, so it should be a little bit more of a spectacle for those of you watching on. There's a good touch from K-Dot. Violent Panda up against him. Violent Panda misses the ball, but takes out the man, and it should be fine for Dignitas.
Now it's Jack trying to go for a solo play. Round that side, K-Dot will intercept and body checked by Violent Panda. Fairy Peak bumps him out of the way, again bumped by Alpha. Just being bullied. They do not want him to be having many chances on the ball here.
Yeah, shout out to the autocam there. I had a feeling that Violent Panda was going to be involved in all sorts of thuggery right there, and it was completely correct. Now it's apparently Jack trying to do something a little bit more stylish, dribble the ball away. Jorius to the wall. What can he conjure up? Can he double up Dignitas' lead? He slows it down, just asking half a question of Vitality to let his teammates in. He do that, and Dignitas certainly looking the better of the two teams, I would say, even taking away their 1-goal lead.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're just seeing that it's Dignitas trying to get as much pressure as they possibly can, just trying to snipe some shots. K-Dop up with low boost.
Great
Violent
demo.
Panda takes out Fairy Peak. Joris with a completely open net.
Brilliant.
And Alpha, if only he was in the Batmobile, mate, he would have got the save.
He needed the extra reach, didn't he? If he had it, he'd have had it easy, but it was too good. The demo in the center of the pitch from Violent Panda, exactly what Dignitas needed, and it's given themselves a little bit of daylight as well. And now we'll see how much vitality you want this game, even subconsciously as part of them preparing for a Game 7 using whatever energy they have left. We'll see. I want to see some explosives from Vitality, some real urgency right here and right now. Fairy Peak's pass, though, is so inaccurate. K-Dop wanted it, but it was nowhere near him.
Jack up quite happily ahead of K-Dop. However, he just completely whiffed the ball, and now Vitality have a continued offense. Alpha with low boost. Can't quite get that touch, and so Panda in the corner when instead opts to go for K-Dop, who yet again stares down the attacker and doesn't get phased.
This man fears for absolutely nothing. But Joris scares him. Apparently Jack to the ceiling. Alpha there over the top of apparently Jack almost, not quite. Fairy Peaks is keeping it in the Dignitas corner. They are getting some pressure, Vitality, but every time, just when it seems that final pass is about to come out, they lose the ball. It doesn't quite happen. It's not really there. Slightly inaccurate. Whatever the problem is on any occasion, it's never as effective as it could be. Vitality in this game, whereas Dignitas, on the other hand, had a few chances, taken almost all of them, and almost gave themselves a third goal in this game.
With 1 minute left, this time Vitality needing to get a goal. We have just been switching the winner every single game. That's how even these two teams are. They desperately want to face off against the best team in the world, but who is it going to be? Dignitas making a great claim in game number 6. Vitality at game 7, that is going to stretch their energy real thin.
I think saying the best team in the world is a statement of fact about BDS is another statement that is going to ruffle a few feathers. We'll see what people say about that, particularly those NA teams, but that's a discussion for another day because there's 25 seconds left in this one. And Dignitas need to see it away. Over to the backboard it goes. Joris could finish it here, and Joris does finish it here. And Stumpy, now if they hadn't already, Team Vitality and the rest of us can start to prepare for Champions Field.
I mean, look, Jack is literally wiping his hands. He is sweating. He's a sweaty gamer. He's got a T-towel to his side, wiped his hands down, he's like, right, let's get back into it. He literally stretched. Like, these guys, this is taking such a physiological toll on them. And I'm excited to see what comes up in Game 7 because my question is, how much do Vitality have in that reserve tank of theirs? They are going to be dipping into the last drops of their fuel right now. Game 7, who is going to be going forward to face off versus Team BDS? Will it be Dignitas? Will it be Vitality? Regardless, they will have gone the full distance to get there.
Yeah, and it's also the first clean sheet of this series as well. Was right there. Dignitas got that 3-0 win. A massive, massive performance from them to take us to Game 7. Who is going to take it? I think that Team Vitality are going to play a lot better in the 7th game than they did in the 6th game. And to be honest, in the 5th game as well, where both teams were a little bit lackluster. This is Vitality, man. This is what they do. They take it to 7. You're thinking, oh, they're down and out. Even against BDS, they looked down and out when they were 3-1 down. They still managed to force the 7th game. Here, they've been taken to a 7th game themselves. They will step up. The question is, can Dignitas deal with that?
It's going to be a huge undertaking for either of these teams. It's Vitality on the last of their energy, and it's Dignitas wanting to dive into their reserves at this point. I have no idea who's going to win. My heart says Dignitas here. I think Vitality have had such a long slog. The only team to have gone through like the lowers and do a couple of games and end up winning is BDS. That's the only team we've had do it. Vitality, though, they've got an amazing claim. Regardless, mate, we're at Game 7. We're on Champions Field. This is where history will be made. Who faces against BDS? Whoever wins this.
I am so excited right now. You can see there in the stadium, Game 7, the fireworks behind the beautiful Ford F-150 as well, putting that
Plonk it down, son.
It's so accurate. Look at that.
You couldn't do that. You could not plan that. Thank God that's a CGI video because that would take so long to do in real life.
They'll get in like a Justin or a Jory as one of these mechanical players and they'll say, try and get the ball to stop on the halfway line. They would not be able to do it.
You can't. But now Game 7. it's going to be a massive undertaking, as we've been saying. And to start proceedings off is Vitality with a lot of pressure. Panda with a flip reset. A little bit of mechanical goodness from him. And Jory is central to Jack. Finds Panda again. That is a brave and unplanned pass.
Yeah, I don't think he meant that one, mate. I'm sorry to say. I know that you're back in Dignitas all the way, but that one seemed like a little bit of a mishit, which thankfully Violent Panda was there for. Now Alpha up against apparently Jack. K-Dot puts it high. K-Dot wants the next touch as well. And Alpha has stolen some boost from Dignitas. And normally when Team Vitality have Dignitas boost loved, they're making the most of it as time goes on. Let's see if they can do it again here. Not on this occasion. Alpha sends out wide to Fairy Peak. And what a pass that is. A reverse pass towards Fairy. So their brains are still with us from Vitality.
Rugby passing it back down the pitch. And it does end up working, like you say. Now Panda from the backboard takes the touch after having so much speed. Stops the ball, flicks it high. Jacking up for one. Panda there for the second touch. And the possession remaining with Dignitas until Fairy Peak has his say. Sends it to Jorius, who has to try and clear this away. Does go high, nice and safe with the flip reset. Can just continue down the pitch with the flip reset off the ball as well. Oh, Jorius is feeling it.
I really thought he had that one. I think he would have done if the ball wasn't just taken away from him at the end. But Alpha's feeling it too, beating a Dignitas player to the ball right there cleanly. These clean hits on the ball are going to be so important in a series as tight as this one. So good the solo plays apparently Jack. Oh, is it going in? Not quite. Fairy Peak. That's what Alpha couldn't quite do and clears it away off the crossbar.
Oh, that is so tantalizingly close. What an opening goal that would have been instead. The 0-0.
Please go in.
Oh my goodness. From Alpha 54.
Oh my goodness, this touch from Alpha off the ceiling, and he dodges into it as well. I was begging K-Dot to finish that just so we could see the replay. Wow. Alpha, wow.
Game 7, Alpha is alive. K-Dot receiving that pass with precision and with venom. What an opening goal to this final match.
Team Vitality's third Game 7 in this tournament. They lost to BDS. They beat Guild Esports, and now they're 1-0 up against Dignitas and looking good for it as well as K-Dot tries to rotate around, leaves it to Alpha. Why not? If Alpha calls you off the ball in this form, you have to let him have it. Which K-Dot does get his chance. Jorius is doing some theatrics on the ceiling, which is actually going to take him out of the game. Should have just let himself land, I think. But one way or another, Panda has a chance to flick, and K-Dot saves in the top corner.
We're approaching half-time, and Jorius with that mid-boost, but no ball, leaves K-Dot open to an attack. That bounces high again. Fairy Peak is there to receive. Jack has to come from the backboard. Fairy Peak touches it on target, but Jorius with a save away and the clear, trying to carry the defense in his backpack right now.
It was such a clever save from Jorius because he knew that Fairy Peak might get the redirect. So what he did is he tried to make it so that if it was faked, he'd have the save, and if the redirect was there, he'd have the save as well. In the end, it was the latter, and it was great defending from Jorius.
Central, Panda can try and get the touch, sends it into the corner, but low on boost means he has to go for the boost over ball here. Alpha tries to go for a long shot. Instead, as it falls to Jorius, he sends long again, but no player there. Maybe a solo play would have been good for Jorius to gain a little bit of territory. Panda, can he go for the double? Not quite. Jack with the shot, saved away by K-Dot, and time ticks away. That one sublime pass into K-Dot's shot may be all that separates these teams.
Off the ceiling it goes. Apparently Jack is following it, but Fairy Peak had the read, and now K-Dot beats his opponent Jorius there. Jorius can turn though. Alpha's been taken out of the game. This is a bit dangerous for Vitality depending on K-Dot's clearance. And then all the way down the other end, and better counter-attack goal you will not see. One chance for Dignitas, but Vitality get theirs, and they take it.
K-Dot returning the favour, finds Alpha, who can just send it below the crossbar. Panda with the touch. Again, so close to getting that away. Instead, helps it on, and 2 goals for Vitality. It won't just be the one that does it, it'll be 2 instead. A fake kickoff gone wrong, and Fairy Peak takes full advantage.
All right, Stumpy, talk me through this kickoff. Where's Johnny Boy when you need him? What's that kickoff called?
Oh, Jack's Roniki'd it. I'm sorry for bringing it up again, Roniki, but his USB cable must have had some kind of interference because he just didn't quite go on that ball as he wanted to.
Freebie for Team Vitality. Surely they'll take this one away now. Surely they're making yet another grand finals of Team BDS. There is still time for Dignitas, but it's looking so unlikely for them. Unless Jorius from the ceiling up with Alpha. Violet Panda leaves this one to apparently Jack. K-Dub's already there on the backboard. K-Dub's missed. Apparently Jack can't quite get the finish. Joris the backboard. Violet Panda must score. Violet Panda does score. 2 goals, 58 seconds. This could still happen.
Panda lurking for that entire duration as well. He stops, grabs the boost, recenters, and just has to get it on target. Manages to do so. And the 2-time will get the first goal in this Game 7. Under a minute left. 2 goals to come in after giving away a freebie. It's an uphill battle. Dignitas, if any team can do it, it may well be them.
It was Game 4 where apparently Jack made that incredible save when Dignitas were 3-1 up in what would have set up a grandstand finish. Now the boot is on the other foot and Dignitas are trying to force their own way to potentially a 3-goal comeback. It's Violet Panda. That's a good passing to the center. K-Dub had that read perfectly. From my angle, I didn't know what was behind me, and that very much could have had a Dignitas player closing it down. So could that, but Alpha saves.
So many chances, so many shots, but the defense being incredibly clutch for Vitality here. Jack, can he get it central? Attempts to, but K-Dub again is there blocking it away. Final 20 seconds, Alpha is able to clear this ball again. Panda desperately scraping it into the Vitality half. The final 10 seconds, will this be Vitality taking it to BDS in the grand final?
I think it surely is going to have to be. The ball falls down. Alpha's there. Alpha shoots. And Vitality have done it. Game 7 was needed. But Game 7 Vitality is something else entirely, especially with this man, Alpha 54. Never in doubt for that finish.
Apparently Jack head in hands, but Dignitas already laughing it off. They know that they've got a third. They've done a fantastic job getting here. And Vitality, there were sighs of release. There were fist bumps. There's a late goal just to give them a little bit of a consolation prize. In the end, though, Vitality are your lower final winners, and they will be facing off against the gods, Team BDS.
I also want to shout out the sportsmanship here. Apparently Jack saying GG's GL in finals and Violet Panda saying GG's GL. So complete respect between these ancient opponents. I think Dignitas realised that they've put on a show, but Team Vitality are back, Stumpy. They had such a terrible second and third regional, but the first one, they did reach the grand finals of the winter split, and it was against Team BDS in the finals. So history has repeated itself. Team Vitality versus Team BDS all the way. It's what a lot of us predicted on the desk. And I think that Team Vitality have the best chance of taking down BDS out of the teams that remain.
What a series that was. Vitality managed to get it. It took them 7, like you said. It was the long way round, and they have had such a long day already so far. They beat Top Blokes earlier after being knocked to the lowest by BDS in the winners' semis yesterday. They then went to Game 7 versus Guild, and another Game 7 versus Dignitas. That is quite a lot of games to try and work your way through, and they won't have too much of a break either before they face off against BDS, who are going to be wide-eyed, bushy-tailed, ready to win yet another major.
Yep, can they do it? Only one way to find out, and that's to tune in after this break, where the grand finals is coming up. Team Vitality need to bracket reset BDS. Is this the time they do it?